gentlemen, welcome back to SGN Channel, the Signature Global Network podcast. Today, this episode, I have invited a very special guest. His name is Rudee Bertie. Rudee has been in the industry for a very long time. You're gonna find out more throughout the interview. And he has been owning 3 companies so far, and the company names are Non-EX, ATM, and also Next. Wow, he's the founder CEO for Non-EX, co-founder, CEO, and chairman for ATM as well as Next. Rudee is a successful entrepreneur and he's also a logistics visionary. I'm so excited to introduce him to you, and he's also a very successful expert and master in the e-commerce industry as well. I've known Rudee for almost 18 years. He has always been an amazing leader, good listener, and he's always good at driving the most and the best from people in his lives. And it's not just about driving them, but encourage them and empowering them to take lead and to be the next leaders as well. Rudee and I are very like-minded people. We both have the same goal that we always want to help people to achieve their dreams. People in our lives be like us as well to achieve our dreams and their dreams together. He's an amazing friend and he also has a wonderful family as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any delay, let's welcome Rudee Bertie to this show. Enjoy the interview.
Hello everyone, welcome to SGN channel. But before I introduce him, I do want to read about the vision of SGN because it's very important for you to understand the purpose why we have this podcast and our vision that has to be aligned. And let's go through it now. So SGN, our vision is to empower, equip, inspire, and connect 100 million leaders of all ages to find their purpose and passion, making the world a better place. To fill the leadership, mindset, and soft skills training gap in organizations. And as I said that, today I have an amazing thought leader with me, and his name is Rudee Bertie. I know many of you guys have already known him because he was there before on the podcast. We got a lot of interactions, a lot of likes, and some guys said to me, I watched the whole thing. That's why I need to get him back, guys. And then I'm going to get him back again in the future because we really like what he's sharing and I can't wait. So let's welcome Rudee. Welcome. Hey, Rudee.
Hey, Kristy, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming again.
No problem. I like it when you touched on amazing. Yeah, I like amazing. I'm going to take that word amazing and put it in brackets.
Well, as you can tell already, Rudee is a very humorous person. I definitely guarantee this whole interview you're going to enjoy a lot. So Rudee, would you mind just for the sake for those who don't know you enough yet, can you just introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, it's no problem. Yes, as Chris said, my name is Rudee. I'm an accomplished entrepreneur and an accomplished CEO. I've built businesses and sold businesses. At the moment, I'm right here consulting and getting involved in networking events and just trying to connect the world of logistics, especially in and around e-commerce solutions.
See, I told you he's a humble guy. He's doing a lot of stuff, but he's just doing that things, right? There's a lot of things he just mentioned. So thank you so much, Rudee. And let's start our interview. I have a lot of questions prepared for you. Are you ready, Rudee?
Yeah, I'm ready. You see, you notice how I kept the introduction short because I've been you've been telling me off like lately for talking too much. So I'm just trying to keep it.
Did I?
Yeah, just trying to keep it on the
Can
download,
the video editor please cut this part? No. Wait. That's the first question I'm gonna do because we cherish authenticity, and I think that's the real part we want to share with you guys. I'm not gonna cut that, guys. Don't cut this part, please. Did I tell you off? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, tell me off. Every time I talk to you, you say you talk too much.
Okay, no. But today it's your stage, Rudee. We want to hear more. Please don't be so short. Just be more generous on the words. You can speak more, and I can't wait to hear from you.
Okay.
All right. So the one question I've had for you, Rudee, what do you think authenticity means to you, and why do you think it's so important for people and for anyone, especially in the professional world as well?
Yeah, I think being authentic, naturally just keeping it real. And I think that's probably the best way I can keep it. Because if you keep it real, you're in a position where you could tell the truth. right? If you have to overemphasize and over embellish on certain things, then it loses that authentic kind of feeling, and people tend to not believe in you.
Mm.
You see what I mean? But what they say is what's seen is believing. So if you could show another person the route forward, and so like say, look, this is where I started and this is what I've achieved. I'm probably not where I want to be at the moment, but this is where I am now, right? That's authentic because you're telling the truth, right? So,
Good.
so I think being authentic is being truthful. That's probably the best way I could put it.
Thank you so much, Rudee. And it is important. That's why the second question I had there was, what do you think is important? Is you did mention this point is if without authenticity, there's lacking trust. Because when you
Yeah.
are real, people trust you. But when you're trying to pretend, we human have high sense. We could sense that is that true or fake. It's very hard to
Yeah.
pretend, right? Unless you're Hollywood, the actor, actress.
No, if you're trying to lead from the front, right, people have to believe in you. They have to believe and they have to trust your judgment. They have to believe and trust your direction.
Mm,
Otherwise, you're going to get halfway down the journey and then you turn around, there's nobody behind you
yeah.
because the lack of faith is gone.
I love that. All right. So the next question I have for you, Rudee, because you are recognized as a thought leader from the years that I've known you for ages, which
Now,
I'm not going to tell
recognized me? Who
everyone.
recognized me as that?
There's too many, Rudee. You can just go to your LinkedIn, go to your all the channels, and people's like, yeah, he's a thought leader. Yeah, you're recognized, and I recognize you as well because from the years that I've known you, and you are always an influencer, and you will lead a lot of people. And the teams are following you. If they don't believe in you, if they don't think you are a thought leader, why they should even come with you, right? And you
No,
already
that's
told
true.
everyone you've got this company, that company, and people come to you, ask for, like, you are the consultant as well. People ask you. That means you must be a good thought leader, and everything's proof that you are. So since you are, can you share with us your tips, like your way? What are thought leaders? Like, what are the elements that you think as a thought leader, just from your perspective? Thank you.
These words, thought leadership, and that have only come to me, have only been apparent to me probably for the last 10 years. You don't really come across these type of words or these type of titles when you start off on your journey. You start off on your journey because it's a journey that you start off on. But I suppose very quickly, as you establish the pathway where you're going and you become somewhat successful in what you're trying to do, then you already know where you want to be. But you're looking back and you're thinking, okay, wow, it's been 2 years already and I've achieved this. It's been 5 years. Before it's been 20 something years and you've set out to do what you wanted to do. So I think thought leadership I think it comes down to being authentic as well, right? And it comes down to being true. I don't think you could have the process of thought leadership without actually doing it yourself, right? You can have an idea,
Yeah.
but everybody's got ideas. But what turns an idea into reality is actually doing it, right? So I think, to answer your question some more, I think from a thought leader, if I'm put in a situation where I need to answer that question, what is a thought leader, right? It comes from experience. It comes very much from experience. Then I can tell you, look, I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it. Some people have even worn the t-shirt, right? They've got the coffee mug, right? But sometimes you have to, well, not sometimes, I believe all the time, in order to be in a position to be a thought leader, you have to understand what it's like to be in a situation to get to the next level.
Very
If
true.
that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's a journey. It's rather a journey than just saying like a word or you just wear hats. I'm a thought leader. It's more about when you're doing these things that you influence people and people are following you. And it's like recognition, as I just said at the beginning, that if not because of this guy saying, thank you, you're a thought leader, how can you tell everyone I'm a thought leader? That's strange. That's weird. Which is why when you said that, you asked me back, why you think I'm a thought leader? Like, that means you are humble. You didn't recognize yourself, but you are recognized because others are following you and we can see everything that you're doing and people follow you around. And because just from my perspective about you, Rudee, I really want to shout out to what you have been making this huge influence in this, especially logistics, e-commerce, and the leadership world, is you really honor people and you cherish people as well. When I know there's a lot of story you can share later on, but what I can see is I see people around you that you lift them up. And that's part of our goal in SGN. In lifting others, we rise. And I know you are kind of person, you are living example about that, these words. It's not just many people are good at saying it. Yeah. Let's lift everybody. And then when things come, they disappeared. Or let's leave. And then they never done anything. But I see that truly you touch me a lot when you do things. You're actually doing it and you are using your heart to serve people around you, to lift them up and to make them amazing future. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Well, the thing is as well, you want people around you, not just in business, but in and around you in life. You want to be able to lift people up and encourage them because you want everybody to be a leader, really.
Yeah.
But in reality, everybody's not born to be a leader. But you want certain people to accomplish and get to as high as they need to get or as high as they can achieve in life, right? But look, I understand that not everybody is set out to be in that leadership role. Some people want to be a passenger, which is fine, right? But if you want to lead and be the driver, then, even if you have no passengers, you still have to keep on going.
Oh, good. I love that. I love the example. And that's exactly how a leader is supposed to be, right? Like you're right. Some days there's no passengers, but if you don't practice taking responsibility and drive the bus, whatever, or Benz or any brand of the car, and one day when passenger come, and then someone gets to the car, who are you? Like, I'm not good at driving this. They don't trust you. They're gonna be like worried, right? But if you've been there for so long, you always assume people are already there. Then you get used to it and it's easier or more authentic.
And the other thing as well is that, everybody started off working somewhere, right? So we all started off, we've all had bosses and whatever. And then as you get accustomed to the workplace and you get acclimatized to the workplace and you start to understand exactly what this work is all about, if you have any kind of inclination of maybe, I understand what they're doing, but maybe there's a different way of doing it. And you kind of subtly challenge your boss, right, into a situation. Once you get your boss thinking about what you've challenged, that's thought leadership right there. Because you're pushing that person out their comfort zone, right? And if that person's got any sense, they should be able to realize and understand that you're coming into their comfort zone. You're not being a threat to them directly.
Yeah.
But you're also lifting them up, right?
Yeah.
So my encouragement to anybody, surround yourself with people that's always prepared to push you. Because if they're pushing you, they're going to make you better, right? They're going to make themselves better. They're going to make you better. And then ultimately, if it's in a business world, the business is going to benefit from it. You want people to be in and around you. That's going to push you all the way, right? Because one day they're going to do it themselves anyway. So while their encouragement and they're encouraged to achieve the best and to push every level and to raise the bar, why don't you let them do it on your watch?
Yeah.
And then when they're ready to take it to the next level, they could do it on their own watch, right? So
very good. Thank you, Rudee. I know that there's some amazing surprise coming up very soon. And there are so many stories in your life and many people have never heard of it. Is there anything you want to share a little bit to the audience here that maybe you can bring up one story that really can guide those people who are looking for some advice in business, especially because I believe you're really successful in what you do. I know there are different ways, different leaders, different successful entrepreneurs in the world, but your way is unique and the way how, like we just talked at the beginning, authenticity. So I want to know Rudee's advice about being a successful, if you need to tell these people right now, what is the biggest advice you can give?
Yeah, I've got so much. Well, I better keep it short because you say I've talked too much anyway. Right? But I've got so much to say, lifting up business or being involved in business. But one of the things which I always encourage is, when you believe the door is shut, it might be half open, right? So don't take no for an answer. If you believe you need to go forward, you need to go forward. Just because somebody else says no or we don't think it's going to work, or but you believe, right? And you understand you've got maybe you've got like a case study, or maybe you've got track record, and you believe that whatever it is strong enough, you need to go forward. Just because one person says no, the next person might say yes, right? So just because that person that you probably hold in high esteem, maybe that person which is your boss, and they disagree with you, it doesn't mean to say that you need to stop on your journey. If you believe in it enough, then go forward. So never take no for an answer. Then the next thing is, as well, you just have to keep on progressing. You're prepared to put the work in. You need to be prepared to be accountable. You need to be responsible. And if you have the ingredient of being accountable and responsible, and putting the work in, believe in your own convictions, and then you will succeed. It might not happen today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or even next year, but you need to keep on pushing forward. And look, some people set out and they have a plan. So your plan might be, one day I'm going to be rich, right? Or your plan might be, one day I'm going to have a successful business. What does that look like? You got no idea what it looks like apart from the end goal. So if your end goal is a warehouse with trailers moving 24/7, 150 staff running up and down the stairs, right? And business global, every single day. If that's your dream, you just need to start to put the pieces together, and it will happen. But you need to focus on what that looks like. Because if you don't focus on what it looks like, then you have no dream, right? You may not have a plan, but you need to have a visual. You need to have a goal. Because I had no plan. My plan was, one day I'm going to be successful, right? And that was it. But then every day you go through, you say, well, actually, I need to put this in place in order to get to that level. I need to put this in place to get to the next level. But if you got nothing in place, you got no stepping stones, you're not going anywhere, right?
Yes.
But you still want to get to that goal. You want to get to that goal. When I started my business, we sat there and we said, look, we don't want to have any more than 10 staff in here, because it's just going to be a nightmare, because you're managing people, right? In previous jobs, you see how the other companies operate and how people are being managed, me being one of them. Some people could be awkward, right? You have so many people, then the way I see it, you've got so many more problems because you're managing people.
Yes.
We very quickly went past 10, 15, 20, 100 people. And it's like, where did all these people come from? The point is, in order to get to where you need to get to, you need people to help you to get there. 10 people wasn't enough. 20 people wasn't enough. So you're building the blocks, right? And then bang, you're going to hit your dream. And then you're not even going to realize you got there, because you're so busy on focusing on the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. Then bang, you're going to hit that dream.
Wow. That's really amazing. Round of applause, guys. I agree with you. Without vision, people perish, and you cannot achieve anything for your future if you don't have a vision. And your vision drives you who you become now today. And people, you're right. People are those that love comes from people, hate comes from people, good things come from people, but bad things also come from people. So I can imagine that stress.
Yeah, so just quickly being like authentic as well. Like sometimes you go and they say, oh, you need to have a business plan. You need this, you need that, you need that. Yeah, that's all good. Yes, you need all that type of stuff. But if you don't have to write a business plan, it doesn't mean to say that you haven't got a vision, right? Just because you don't have a business plan and somebody's telling you that your business plan is no good, it doesn't mean to say that your vision is no good. So the vision always comes before the business plan.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
one cannot come before the other. So
that's right.
Just because they say no, that business plan is no good,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean to say that your vision has to stop there.
That's
your vision
right.
is still your vision.
Yeah, you're right. And I always heard that famous saying that don't change your vision, don't change your goal, change your plan. If this plan doesn't work, find another plan. Find another plan until you fulfill. Because most of the time people tend to fail once, twice, it doesn't work. And they change the vision, they never get there. And that's a problem.
Yeah, I remember my wife used to say to me, like when we was going through hard times, and she'd be like, what's your plan? I said, don't worry, I got a vision.
Wow. So deep.
Now imagine that. Imagine you say, don't worry, when you got debts and you can't pay the mortgage, you can't put fuel in the car, the lights going out and you can't pay the light bill and all that. And she said, what are you doing, man? What's your plan? Don't worry, I got a vision. Don't worry.
Wow. So powerful, really. I mean, it's kind of like funny, but it's really deep. It's powerful. The words you
Yeah,
just said. Yeah.
but it's true. You
Yes.
can't, there's a lots of people you could go out there and talk to, and they never actually started out being successful from day one. There's lots of challenges, lots of doors being shut in their face, lots of people saying, yeah, we're going to help you. And you turn around and they've run a million miles away, right?
Millions.
There's, there's lots of negativity that comes into this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then if you have the vision and you stay focused, right? And you said something there 2 minutes ago, just change the plan, right? Because your plan might be, right, one day I'm going to be rich. Well, how are you going to do that? I don't know, but I'm going to be rich, right?
I love that. I love that.
So,
So
and
good.
so that's the power of your vision. And
Yeah.
then you got to sit down and say, well, actually, I need a plan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're forced to.
'Cause,
'Cause
yeah, that's the way, I think that's the way it works. That's the way it works for me. You've got that vision. Well, how am I going to get there? Then you start
yeah.
planning backwards. Then you start somewhere.
Wow. That's amazing. Yes, vision is important. It's gonna drive you wherever you go. You don't need to have plans, but once you have vision, the plans will come out as time goes by.
Yeah, yeah. Look, and that could be, like I said, it could be in any business that you start, any kind of venture that you start. If you got the vision, then it's going to happen, right? Now, from the simplest thing, you want to go on a particular holiday somewhere, right? You see advertised on the TV and whatever, and you say, one day I really want to go there. If your mindset is no way on earth I'm going to get there, then it's not going to happen. But if you
Yes.
say one day I'm going to get there, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there,
Yeah.
right? So that's your vision.
Yeah.
And then you have to start planning. Your plan would either be, right, you start saving, or it could be you research, how can I win a holiday? Whatever the thing is,
Lottery.
right?
Buy lottery as well.
Exactly. But I believe if you manifest enough, it's gonna happen. Yeah, manifesting is believing, right?
Mm.
And believing is manifesting. And if your willpower is that strong, then it will happen. But if your willpower is derailed, then obviously it's not gonna happen, is it? Right? So
I love that, Rudy. And the way how you say it's so powerful because you said if at the beginning you already mind is already telling you, hey, give up. No way, no way. You would never even look for ways. And you already like, it's like a game. Game hasn't started. You quit. You never enter the
yeah,
game. You never won the game because you never even enter it, right? But the thing is, you said is if you enter the game, you're always gonna be winning at the end. The question is, are you going to believe you're gonna win, and are you gonna keep trying, or are you gonna give up, right? And what you said is so true with the will, very true.
and look, the other thing, sometimes what I put it down to is you have to take a driving test, right? Look how many people are out there driving. Everybody you know could drive, right? But then when you take lessons, you're taking lessons for a reason. You're taking lessons to learn how to drive. Then you go for the test. You either pass or you fail, right? So there's passing and there's practicing to pass. That's the way I look at it. Because eventually everybody's going to pass. You're not really a failure, are you? You're just practicing to not fail.
So
So you're
true.
practicing to pass.
Yeah.
Because everybody down my street has a car. And it's like, if you see how some of these people drive, you're like, wow, how the hell did you manage to pass your driving test? Right. But the point of the matter is, you're not failing. You're just practicing to pass. And then obviously, when you pass your driving test, now you start your journey. That's just the foundation for you to start your journey on. Because you don't really know, yes, you know the mechanics of driving, but you don't really know the roads until you actually start to find it yourself. You need to find your own path. Yeah, you're
Very
not going to
good.
follow the bus route everywhere you go, and you're going to drive on the train track to get to where you're going to go. You're going to find your own route.
Very good.
That's how I look at not giving up. You don't give up. right? You just keep on going.
Very good. Inspirational, guys. And if I'm hearing from Rudee right now, I'm feeling like powered up. Like it's good. I'm reminded again, don't give up what you should be doing. Like just don't give up your dreams and believe in yourself and keep going. Don't give up. I love it, Rudee. So next question I have for you, as I know you're running networks and I'm also running networks. And network is very important because at the beginning you said, I believe from my understanding, you have big passion in people. You love people. Obviously, sometimes the same to me. Like I love people, but when we talk about 10 stuff, you want to increase more stuff. You're anxious because I said people can be the problem. People can be the blessings, right? In networking, why is so important, right? I know that we know it, but there's still people who kind of like, oh, really? Do I really have to? Like, they still doubt about it. Why networking is so important? Do you want to bring this up and just to share your experience and how network really helped you to achieve who you are today, and how powerful it is to help others outside there to think about, hey, it's time to do your network, like to increase it and to expand your network. Can you share with us? Thanks.
Yeah, the networking is about building relationships and knowing the people that you're working with. So we're talking about working networks, right? So it's building relationships and knowing the people that you work with. We can all sit there on our phones, go through the directory, or sit on emails and mail shot everybody, or you could go on LinkedIn and you can link through LinkedIn, but you don't really know the person, right? You understand their business, but is the person behind the business right for you? Some people have good ideas of types of people that they like to work with, and they have other ideas of people that they're never going to work with because this is the person that I worked with in my last place, and I just didn't like that makeup of relationship, right? So they know who they want to work with. I could identify your business from the example that you put on your website, for argument's sake, right? From your description. And I could identify your business from the description that's put on the network directory. But then when I sit down and I talk to you, is there chemistry, right? Are you going to look after my business the same way that I look after my business? Are you going to look after my customer the same way that I look after my customer? Right? So is networking is getting to know the people. Networking is self-referral as well. So if I'm confident in front of you, you know that your business is in safe hands because
Yeah.
I've given you my word. I'm looking you in your eye,
Yeah.
right? I'm telling you, if there's a problem, you could come back to me. I could have 150 people working in the office, but I'm giving you a guarantee you come and talk to me, right? Because I'm going to make sure it happens. Like you know that I'm not the person sitting there doing all the work. There's 150 people doing the work, right?
Yes.
But you know that I've given you a guarantee. And if I've given you that guarantee, who knows, the next person that comes along that's looking for a referral and they mention your name, mention my name, that's self-referral. That's the most powerful it can get. You can't get anything more powerful than self-referral. You can have all the media, you could have all the stuff making you look good, right?
Yeah. Very true.
But then when it comes to, hey, Rudee, speak to Kristy, I can guarantee she's going to look after your business. As far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. That person that I've trusted, they've told me, right? So I've come to you. And as far as you're concerned, you've been referred by a person that you trust.
Yeah.
And so you're not gonna
Yeah.
break that trust.
Very
You see what I
true.
mean? And it just goes on and on and on. So going to networking events, sometimes, yes, you have the same networkers in the event, but there's a foundation of networkers, right? The foundation of networkers come together. But that's your base. As far as I'm concerned, that's my selling field. That's my selling ground, right? I may not ever do any business with the 172 country networkers in that room in that particular time. I might not do any business with them at all, right? But I can guarantee you that I'm leaving a lasting impression on them to go out and resell my business. You see what I mean?
Very
Right?
good.
And I don't believe when you go to a networking event, I don't think you should go to a networking event believing I'm going to come out with loads of business. I think that's the wrong approach to take. I think You need to go to a networking event and you need to see how quickly you could build a relationship because everything else follows, right?
Yes.
If you go in there thinking, how much money can I make from this person and how much money I can make from that
Mm.
person, and I can see these guys have got lots of business. I want it, I want it, I want it, right? It's not going to come because your message to them is, I just want the business. I'm not
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
You need to build the relationship. And
Mm.
look, it's obvious if you're coming into a network, the network's already been founded and there's already memberships and stuff in there. It's obvious that people are already doing business with each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So why do you think as soon as you come in, as great as you may think that you are, that you're just going to pick up business immediately? It's not going to happen. You need to
True.
build that relationship. You need to explain, not even convince, but just explain exactly what it is that you do. Just by building that relationship, you're going to get one chance. They're going to give you a shot and they say, okay, well, I've got an opportunity for you. Take that one opportunity and you turn that into a lasting opportunity. That's my
Yeah.
approach to
So
networking.
true. So true. Thank you, Rudee. And you know, in saying that, I also want to deep dive a little bit more on the networking stuff. Oh, by the way, congratulations. You have your event coming up and it's really amazing. I can already see all this excellent work your team is doing. And I can't wait. In the meantime, whoever's watching the video, if you still have time, come to Hong Kong and join the conference. Yeah, but in saying that, there are many people, they have this wrong mindset that they go there, they want to just treat people as commodity instead of as human. And it's really not wise because you're right. We are there is simply because of people, and people are the most important asset among everything. No matter it's business or on the earth, whatever that is, it's human, it's people. And I think you're right. That's why this is the key to your success, Rudee. You're very much really pay attention to people and you're supporting them, which is so good.
Yeah, it's a people's business, right? Without people, you have no business. Yeah, you can't just wake up one day and say, right, I'm going to have this business. Okay, who's going to run the business? Where are you going to get the business from? Right. So, you can't just say, right, that's it. You need people, whichever way you look, left, right, center, behind. You need people in order to
Yeah.
support where you need to go. So, what's the best way of encouraging people, right? You build your relationships, you become people friendly.
Mm,
Nobody likes to work with people they consider idiots, right? No, nobody likes it. No, you'd rather
true.
go to work and work with people that you like. You'd rather go to work and work with like-minded people. You'd rather get involved in business with people that you could get on with. If right, this morning I'm going into the office and you're just gonna get that, right? Don't talk to me, I'm not interested, or you're gonna get negativity, and you're like, what's the point? It's off-putting, it turns you off. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's the difference between liking what you're doing and not liking what you're doing. And then the thing is, you're already thinking about, okay, I'm moving on, right?
So true.
Yeah, look, I never really understood when I started working, when I started coming into my career, people, right, in business. You just thought, okay, I need to go out and get a job and I'll do the work and everything's good. Right? People get in the way, right? There's somebody that's on your level that's trying to prove they're better than you. There's your boss out there that's trying to show you that he or she's the boss. I know you're the boss because you have the title. You don't need to keep on telling me that. You know what I mean? You understand? There's certain people out there, and
Imagine. Okay.
it's just ridiculous. Then you got the customer. Your boss is telling you the customer's always right. Yeah,
Everyone
and
is a
you
king except for yourself.
yeah, and you have to understand what that really means. What does the customer is always right mean? Does it mean that that customer can just talk to you how they want? You know, are you allowed to say anything back? Can you defend yourself in a situation, or do you feel you're going to get in trouble because you've said something which may be considered wrong? But it takes time to understand how to deal with all these kind of things. And going back to it, it's about people, right? If you know how to deal with people, then you're gonna get along in life. But if you don't even consider people, then you ain't going nowhere. And I think, look, in this generation as well, because there's so much technology around as well, they don't socialize as much because the social communication is all stuff which is done online. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, people is the key, Rudy. You're so true. And it's so right that if you want to go further, you have to go together. If you want to go faster, you go by yourself, right? And that's so important when you are aware how important it is. Sometimes people always think, you're right. Yeah, I can do this by myself. I can. That kind of ego, that kind of belief. Yes, it's very easy to trip into that thoughts that you don't need anyone. But if the fact is, you're right, when you start your business, you got 10 people and increase to many and many. That's one of the key reasons that you move so far, right?
Yeah, because look, there's, when they talk about, okay, we're going to start a business. We're going to call it the company. The company name is this. It says it in the word company, right? Company, people. But nowadays, obviously because we had the pandemic and all that type of stuff, right? Where people was working from home. And when companies insisted, like this year, end of last year, that people come back to the office, right? Certain people like, well, what's the point? We've been working from home for 2 years, and why do we need to go? Because it's a company.
I
That's
love
what
it.
the company wants people to come back, right? Because
Wow.
you need that work-life balance. If everybody's working at home all the time, they're not interacting with people, right? Kids could play games and they can have so much social interaction playing games, but they're still isolated. When we were growing up, our social interaction, we were together in the
Yes.
field,
Yes.
on the
The same.
playground.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? In the gym
Yes.
and all kinds of stuff. But now they're doing their whatever games they're playing, where you could play 25 people in 25 different countries
Yeah. The real game, like in real
and,
life. Yeah.
and all that type of stuff. But this is why you got to look at the Olympics and these kind of things, because that's real people getting together with real pressures and real goals and real visions, real challenges. You know what I mean? Real achievements and whatnot. And they have to be able to deal with real people. When you're stuck behind a computer, you're not dealing with real people. You're dealing with the keyboard. You're not dealing with the real people, right? So that's the power of networking. You have to network because again, there was networking and there's virtual networking. The virtual networking served the purpose, right? To keep the interaction going. But really
Right.
and truly, you need people to touch, feel, or whatever. You know what I mean? You need to be able to meet and greet. Yeah, one of the weird things, which I still find a bit awkward today, is when people make the introduction on email or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then people say, "Pleased to meet you,"
Yeah,
right?
yeah. People still write that. Yeah, I see
Pleased
that.
to
Yeah.
meet you, or pleased to meet you, albeit by email,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I haven't actually met you, but I get the point, right? And then the other one was what was a little bit more real was when we're having Zoom calls and whatever, where it's like, yeah, pleased to meet you. So I've had this is from experience, right? So
Yeah.
I was having probably 5 meetings with this one company last year or the year before. No, sorry, it's last year because we're near the end of the year now. So it's last year, and I was having these meetings, Zoom meetings, and I got to know them really well from Zoom meeting. Anyway, so earlier this year in January or February, when we met up in Las Vegas for the
Yeah.
Manifest event, guy came out to me, "Hey Rudy, how you doing? How you doing?" I was like, and my first thing was like, "Do I know you?" Because I'm so used to seeing him from head down to waist,
True. It's a bit
right?
strange. It's alive.
Yeah, and with like casually dressed or whatever. But in real life, this guy was, you know what I mean? And it took me a few seconds, and I was like, "Oh, of course I know who you are." Yeah, you know what I mean? But maybe he was in the corner, kind of looking, saying, "Oh, what if that's Rudy over there?" Because look, I knew he was going to be at the event, and he knew that I was going to be there. So obviously, in real life, people are much different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Much different. Even though you pick up on the character online, but in person, what kind of people are they? Are they huggy people? They firm handshake? Are they a pat on the back? You know what I mean? Are they more funnier in person than they are online? Because remember, people online they're trying to be
Yeah, they
serious.
are. They are different. Yeah. Very true.
You know, what attention span do they have? You know what I mean? Are they
Attention
people that
span.
yeah, because sometimes people turn their cameras off in the meetings, right? And they go to sleep. And then they set an alarm clock like 5 minutes later, they wake up and anything I missed kind of thing, right? But in real life, some people if there's other people around, they're here, they're here. Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute. And that's what I like. The real character, the real makeup of the person. Because you get to know what the people are like. And you get to know if you like to work with that person, if you want to engage with that person, if you want to go for dinner with that person. What do they drink? What do they eat? Let's not even talk about business. Let's talk about stuff outside of work. You know what I mean? Let's talk about your family. What do you do in your spare time? That's networking. Trust me, man. In my position in networking, I never went to a network as a customs broker, right? A customs broker, you go to a freight forwarding network. Everybody says, well, why are you even here? Yeah. Why are you even here? Well, then to me, I was like, what do you mean, why am I here? Because you're going to need a customs broker one day. Yeah, but we use this freight forwarder. They have a customs broker already. Yeah, but do they do their own in-house brokerage? You see what I mean? They're like, oh, well, we don't know. Then the other one was like, why are you here? You have to do tons of customs entry declarations in order to make your money. And I say, yeah, I do. Right? But you got to imagine, they're not even asking me about my business. They're just like, they see the title, why are you even here? Then it's like, if you've got no reciprocal business, then we can't do any business. And I say, well, in my head, I'm saying, well, obviously, we're not supposed to do business then, right?
Yeah.
The ones that need me, they're going to need my service. If you don't, then
So
you don't.
true.
But the ones that think they don't need your service are the ones that probably do need the service.
True.
But it's just how you sell your business to them. You see what I mean?
Yeah. And I agree with you, Rudy. Everyone is your customer, even your friend, your family, like anyone who needs something from you. If you can provide value, that's where it becomes a business. It doesn't mean that you have to charge everyone. You don't charge your family, right? I'm just saying it's
Exactly.
important. Yeah.
I remember going to one conference, one network event, and I took two new salespeople with me. And this was the first time where this time I had a booth. And so I went out on the field walking, they stayed in the booth. Then others were coming saying they were so like proud of being there, they're selling the business and this is what we do and all that. Then it's like, again, why are you here? Right? Why we don't understand what you do. You're just a customs broker. How can we do any business together? At the end of that day, these two sales guys came to me and said, we don't understand why we're here. Right? And I said, what do you mean you don't understand why you're here? And I said, you need to very quickly find out why you're here. Otherwise, you need to get on the next plane and go back home. Right? Because it's not holiday, is it? You know what I mean? You have the brief. This is what the company does, and this is what you're supposed to sell. Right? Now, because somebody else comes in and says, we don't understand why you're here, we don't understand your business, and they feel these people know their business better than they do, or they know their business better than I do,
Yeah.
right? The influence was too great to be able to fight back.
So true.
Anyway, so we went out for dinner that night and I sat down and I broke it down. I said, look, the business that we do, every single agent in here, they need somebody like us, right? Some of them don't even know they need someone like us, but they do. Some of these big companies, they have their own in-house brokers.
Yes.
Some of the small companies have their in-house brokers, but they don't all have in-house brokers. They all look for customs brokers.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some countries, the freight forwarder don't even have a customs broker.
Yeah.
They have to go to the customs broker.
Yeah.
Right. You need to find this is your job to find the ones that need us. That's what you need to do. Right. And also, because we're coming with a different twist on what everyone else is selling. We're talking about e-commerce, right? So who's looking for e-commerce solutions? We can offer you that. Who's looking for freight to post solutions? We can offer you that. Who's looking for maybe courier solutions? We can offer you that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're giving your small parcels to DHL, FedEx, come and talk to me. That's your job, right? Now, these two sales individuals, that brief that I gave them on that day, the next day they went out and they killed it. They wiped the floor. You know what I mean?
So good. So good.
Yeah, they wiped the floor. To this point today, they're now running their own businesses.
Wow. Well done,
So,
Rudy. Awesome
right,
job.
so this is my point, right? You can't, because somebody else is telling you I don't know what you're talking about. Just because you don't know what I'm talking about, that means that I don't know what I'm talking about. That's the vision, right? So you got to keep the vision. Keep the vision. Because somebody is going to need the service that you want. And if somebody needs it, a business is going to need it. Because that somebody might be the owner of the biggest manufacturers
Correct.
in the country, for argument's
Yeah.
sake.
It will
You don't
happen.
know who you don't know who
It
you're
will,
talking to.
correct. It will happen because when you connect with one person, another person connect with another 100, another 100, the world is not that big. It's small. It's a small world when it comes to connections. When you come,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Again, this stuff all happens at events, right? So I went to another event in Dubai. And this is the first time I went to Dubai. And actually the second time. The first time I went for holiday. So the second time I went was for business. And I was told in Dubai, there's no nightclubs, there's no alcohol, there's nothing, right? So I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be pretty dead, right? In the evening, it's gonna be dead, right? We're just gonna have to sit in the hotel and hope for the best, right? So at the end of then everyone said, oh yeah, we're going to the club. I was like, club? What kind of club is this? Is it in the middle of the desert somewhere or whatever, right? So this club, I'm at some hotel, went in there, and it was just like being in any international nightclub, right? It was pretty good. So one of the guys came up to me. I didn't know this guy, and he came to me and he said, "Look, something's landed on my desk, and I don't know what to do with it, but I need it dealt with." Somebody said it's called e-commerce. I've never even heard the word before. I don't know what it's all about, but I've been told that you can help me. He said, "Look, before I get too drunk and I don't remember, take my card, right? And then let's touch base tomorrow." Tomorrow, I never saw him again, right?
Okay.
I
Okay.
never saw this guy again. But then when I looked at his card, I realized that his card, the business address was literally down the road from my business address.
Ah,
Right?
wow.
I didn't even know he's from the UK because he had like he had a Kiwi accent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Australian Kiwi accent. So I
Yeah.
figured he's from Australia somewhere.
Kiwi
But
accent. Kiwi's New Zealand accent. It's
that's what I
kangaroo
said.
accent.
That's what I said. I said he had a Kiwi or
Oh, okay.
Australian
New Zealand.
accent,
Okay.
right? So I
Okay.
didn't know whether he was New Zealand or Australian, right? I figured that he wasn't, living in the UK, right? Anyway, so when I got back, I called, emailed, I didn't get nothing, right? And then just out of the blue again, he contacted me. He said, "Look, sorry, I didn't get back to you, blah, blah, blah. I've been traveling, right? But this problem still ain't gone away." And I said, "Yeah, I noticed that you're literally down the road." He said, "Yeah, come down." So I went down there and they had a whole warehouse full of stuff, right? That they couldn't clear. They weren't authorized to clear it.
Wow.
And so I looked at and I said, I can make this happen. Anyway, cut a long story short, I made it happen, done everything, right?
Wow.
This company turned out to be DHL, right?
Wow.
And but DHL have different divisions.
Mm.
And so at this moment in time, this was a company, they were called DHL Global Mail, right? So as a mail operator, you cannot clear commercial goods, right? But DHL being DHL, they have the power to attract business. So they're picking up all this business. Anyway, so I went in there, sorted it all out and everything. Overnight, they became my biggest and number one customer
Wow.
because not just from the US, not just from the Far East, I was getting a business from everywhere. That type of
And
profile of business,
yeah.
because it was like considered B2C e-commerce,
Yeah.
that became the biggest, and that created the blueprint, right? So then, cut a long story short, so when I'm now going back into the networking events, I'm now looking for agents to support my business. I don't want any business from them unless they got some. But
So
now
good.
I'm looking at for agents that can support my business. Can you support my e-commerce business? I've got a customer that's global, but now I need support for my customer because all I wanted to do was go back to my customer and said, "Don't worry, let's take on your stuff from Russia, right? Let's take on your Africa. Let's take on." You see what I mean? I've got agents in all these places that can now support your business, right? And so they
Wow.
will just come to me, right? Make it happen, bang. You know what I mean? Now,
Wow.
the power of that. Now that the rest of that community, they wanted to see. So if DHL can do it, who's behind it? Oh, this company CCL. Then I started to get inquiries.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So from my point of view, the way that we looked at it was DHL was reselling our service to sell their service. So at that moment in time, they had probably, I used to take weekly conference calls with their sales agents this is just the USA.
Wow.
And then I got some from the Far East to join into the calls as well. But so every week or every 2 weeks, we used to have at least 150 to 200 people on the sales call, and they would have certain questions. And the questions are too complex for the stations to be able to answer. So I just said, look, let me just talk to them directly. All right. So I would talk to the sales. So they would fire off questions and I would give them the answers. This is how you need to deal with this. Go over to your customer and tell them this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then they went back to their customer. They started to win business, right? So they're reselling my service, my little
Again,
company.
yeah. That's
See what I mean?
why.
Right. So this is what I'm going to you about. If you think you don't need the service, you probably do.
Wow.
What do you do? So you need to do tons of customs declarations. Yeah, I do. Right. But the way I looked at it, the declaration side, the custom side of it, to me, that's knowledge, expertise. That's the brain behind everything. Right. Where you make your money, you can only make so much money doing a declaration. But where you make your money is all the add-ons. Every time you touch and you move a consignment, you charge for it. You see what I mean? I can
Yeah.
move it from the left warehouse to the right side of the warehouse and you're charging for it.
Yeah.
That's where you make your money, on the handling.
Yeah.
And that's what, if you ask me about the business at that time, I'll be able to break it down and tell you exactly where, right? Rather than you kind of dismissing, saying, well, there's no point, we don't understand your business, so dismiss it. And you know what I mean? So ask me what I do. Don't say, why are you here? You know what I mean? There's a difference. What do you
There's
do? Tell me about your business. I'll tell you about the business. Why are you here? Well, why are you here? You know
you
what I
know
mean?
why it's good? Why it's much more powerful than what? When you know
Yeah.
why, it drives you. Like we was talking about at the beginning, it's like your goal is gonna drive you all the way. Your vision. And why is the vision? Why you're here? My vision is I come here, I foresee that my warehouse will be full, right? I foresee whatever. There's a reason behind it. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. It's like, why are you here? I'm here the same reason you're here. Right. But what do you do? My what is different to your what,
Mm.
right? My what is this is what I do. Your what is this is what you do. And together in collaboration, maybe we can align together and we can work together.
Yeah.
You know
What
what I mean?
together? So creative, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't he creative? I love that answer. What
Yeah.
together? But that's so true. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to turn up at a conference or they're going to turn up to a network event. No one's going to turn up there if they don't know why they're there. You're obviously there, either to win business or win relationships. And my thing was always forging relationships to build on my business. Right? I can going back to these DHL guys, I'll be able to sit in their boardroom and I'll be able to tell them I have coverage globally that can protect their business, right? They couldn't say that themselves. They're everywhere, but they weren't doing e-commerce everywhere, right? Their e-commerce, what they were doing was totally different to my profile of e-commerce. Yeah, mine was based on a B2C solution, moving everything in bulk. Theirs was based on a B2B solution, moving at single package. You move everything at single package, then there's a minimum on everything. You move thing at bulk level, then there's a minimum at just the bulk, right? So your minimum package, right, of 10 kilos and my minimum bulk, your 10 kilos, you're still paying the same minimum as my bulk of 1,000 packages. You know what I mean? So,
Guys, you
so
learned a lot from Rudee today. It's a master class. I think we need to definitely start collecting feedbacks on the chat, whatever. Let's have some master class run for Rudee because he's really amazing what he does. Like his mindset, the way how he does business, how he truly cherished the relationship with people. See, it's like a butterfly effect. From one person you drug together and the guy give you a card and all the way starts to be the whole story. I really love that. It's amazing. So never underestimate a relationship, a person that you connected. If you don't believe it, remember, if you don't believe it, you won't even go for it. But because you believe it so much, Rudee, and things all happened.
yeah. And you got to remember as well, people move on, right? So there's a lot of people out there which work for businesses, corporations. They grow the business, they turn over, because they're set for certain tasks and whatnot, and they move on. But then businesses are sold and resold, but the people are still there. So these people that you build the relationships with, they're still people which I'm still in contact with today, right? So if they know what my capabilities are, I know what their capabilities are, right? So this is the referral, the power of referral as well. Oh yeah, speak to Rudee. I'll speak to Kristy. I'll speak to, do you know what I mean? Because they know what you're capable of doing, regardless of whether you're in the same position where you was 20 years ago to where you are now. They know that you're the go-to person. I'm
Very
still
true.
getting people coming to me, for things that I was involved in like 20 years ago. But even though I'm not involved in it today, I know a number of people which still are. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And back in the good old days, everybody had a book with telephone numbers in or whatever, right? But now with the technology, everybody's got a directory with go-to people.
Yeah.
Like instant. It's instant. Oh yeah, go to this person. You pull up their LinkedIn account, or you send them their WhatsApp or whatever, or you send an email. You copy them in on an email.
Yeah.
Right now, if I can refer you on an email, that's the most powerful referral that you're getting. It's done. It's more or less like it's a signed deal, done deal, it's signed,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not going to refer you
Yeah.
if I don't believe that you're the right person. Because what is it? It's about credibility now, right? So it's a credible referral. I'm not going to do it if you're not credible. If I'm thinking, God, I know Kristy, I've known her for years, but she's not very trustworthy.
Can you
She
speak
cuts
the truth,
corners.
Rudee? Don't use me an example for the bad examples. I know you should use the wrong person.
Feel like she cuts corners, not very
Oh
trustworthy,
no,
you
definitely
know.
not me. Guys, cut this part. Okay, can you come
Then
back to normal
obviously,
now? Speak the truth, please.
yeah, then obviously I'm not going to refer you, am I? Because I know it's going to come back to bite me one day. Right?
So true, so true.
But if they are looking for someone which is don't keep the time, untrustworthy, don't tell the truth, then I'm going to put them your way.
Yeah.
Now, my point is it going all the way back to networking is powerful, man. Networking is powerful. Like some people go to network. I know everybody has a plan, right? They sometimes my plan is just to walk around and keep my ears open, right? Listen and keep my eyes open, see what's going on. And then if I'm approached, and then I'm very fluid, right? But sometimes you go with a plan, right? You go, who's there? I need to target this, and this. I feel like a winner opportunity, but it's not going in there, putting your pricing up and say, I can undercut your competitor, right? Because then you're just talking a price war. My thing is, I might approach you just so that you know who I am. And then that's it. My work is done. Gone. Remember them days, right? Remember the days when you used to sit down in the presentation,
Yeah.
and people come up with their laptops and they'll have all of this stuff going on, and then you'll be sitting there saying, why did I accept this meeting? You know what I mean? Because this could be done in 2 minutes, but I'm still half an hour, I'm still here. Right? Remember the ones.
I know. But
And
I
then
think Rudee, that's very good example. I want to share quickly one thing. I don't know if you heard the story, but it's also many years ago when I probably knew you back then. I had this meeting with a guy who is very well known nowadays. I'm not mentioning his name here, but you know him. And
yeah,
the meeting we've got there is I was so young. I was like very new, like the one of the salesperson. I want to get people to know me and stuff. But one thing I was really good at, I'm very good at connecting with people. So I was sitting down and I start to ask him questions and start making jokes. We start laugh like friends. Like immediately we become very good friends in only 20 minutes. But then,
right.
the meeting one-on-one is only 20, maximum 25. And the last 5 minutes, like, oh my gosh, I haven't asked anything about your business. And I need to write down the mini minutes and send it to the boss. I was like, what can I do now? And then I was panic. And this guy laughed at me. He's like, don't worry. Just go to the website and just take our details and you're fine. I was like, oh, okay. And Rudee, this is a fun story, but it tells the truth that I didn't
Yeah,
really intend to get business, but I was connected as a friend. And this guy, right now, he still be with me. He still supports me. And we're
yeah,
still very good friends. And
good.
he gives the business when I back then to that company. He's give the
Yeah,
business to them just because of that.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's good. That's a good story. That's a very good story because I can even relate to that because you're sitting there and you're getting on so good with these people. You're not even talking about business. Then you hear the
Yeah.
bell go. It's like, oh my goodness. Right. The guy, I remember back in these days as well. I remember, right, where you used to have the meeting, right? Then at the end of the meeting, they'll be like, oh, can I take your photograph? And I'll be like, oh, okay, you want to take my picture? You know, maybe,
That's me, Rudee.
maybe yeah, famous, you know what I mean? Right? But I didn't know, man, at the time, because I was very naive at the time, right? So I didn't know that it's everybody looks the same to everybody. When you got like thousands of people running around in a room, you know, if you take a picture, you at least you could say, I had the meeting with this guy, right? This is what we spoke about. This is what he looked like, right? So when you're reporting back to the boss and all this kind of stuff, to me, it's like
I did that,
that is
Rudee.
just very
Yeah.
kind of different,
Yeah.
not weird or odd, but just different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's different. I at first I was thinking, well, everybody wants to take my photograph, man. You
I
know, I feel
did that
quite
all the
important
time, Rudee.
here.
Same thing.
Everywhere it was, everywhere I went, it was the same.
Yeah.
Every other conference. So you started the trend. Did you start the trend with the photograph as well
Yes.
on the business
Yes.
card?
So I started because I was that kind of person. Really, we're a bit similar on that. I'm not afraid to do something differently. Somebody was like, "Why do you do that?" Yeah, weird, but let's do it anyway. And then
Yeah.
you know,
Well, here's the thing, right? So because it was very much, and this is the thing, right? So when you push yourself out your comfort zone, I started going to lots of like Asian, Far East conferences, right? Because that's where I was getting a lot of the work. So Far East and US, that's where I was picking up a lot of my business from. And when you go to the Asian conferences, you're being given business card, right? And it's got the minimum English on, and it has the photograph of the person that you're dealing with. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good, right? So then when I went back, I got my business cards done the same, right? So I had Mandarin on my business cards and my photograph with my, name, title, and all this kind of stuff, which is brilliant. Anyway, when you go into Europe or into America and you're giving them your business card with your photograph on it, they're like, that's a bit vain. We know what you look like. You know what I mean? What's this all about? You see what I mean? So
culture and
different
mindset.
cultures.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
what I mean? But very quickly, look at it now. Everybody does it.
It's a
Now, if you
trend.
started that, you should have put
Yeah,
a
I
paint on
know.
it.
I know. The photograph definitely start from me because when I was traveling, there's not many people doing overseas partners meetings, and I was one of the very initial parties, and I was the one always taking photos. It was like,
Didn't
why
you
is
have
she
a
doing?
didn't you have an actual camera?
I think I've got camera. Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
think you had a camera, didn't you? A
yes,
proper
yes.
camera. Yeah, I
Because
remember.
back
Yeah.
then, the mobile phone is not so the function is limited was
Wasn't good.
limited.
Yeah. I think you had a proper camera. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I still have a lot of photos for olden days. I was traveling around the world with all the overseas partners, and you couldn't believe so many of them, like you and as well, would connect again. And because I got this photo, I remember how they look like, and it's good. It's very good.
Yeah, and then the follow-up on that was, a week later or whatever, the follow-up. Remember we spoke about this. And then instantly you remember the person, right? So I thought, yeah, genius. But again, networking, right?
Mm,
That's the power of networking. I'm all for networking,
mm.
100%. Even if it's going down the pub on a Saturday or Sunday, right? Or going to the gym. You're gonna see the same sorts of people there, but you're never gonna know who you talk to.
Yes.
You go down the gym, you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
That could be the CEO of,
Yes. True.
whatever. You know
Very
what I mean?
true. Very true.
Yeah. And if you're an idiot to him, he's like, he don't want to do anything with you,
Yeah.
right? Imagine
Yeah.
you're an idiot to this guy at the gym, right?
Mm.
And then the next thing you walk into a meeting and he's like,
So awkward.
it's like, oh my goodness.
That's true.
Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are
I
you
wish
doing
I
here?
never met you before.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah, man.
Rudee, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much. Wonderful stories. And I think if we keep going, we're never gonna stop this one. We should do another session, maybe in the next month. And it's really wonderful to have you. And let's conclude that your network is your net worth. It's really important to have network. And again, to conclude what you said, having a network doesn't mean you go there just say, hey, give me your business. Hey, give me this, give me that. It's more about connecting with people and truly connecting with them for another level. Once the relationship is there, that means everything will come and flow and come to you just easily. And
Yeah,
sometimes
believe
you
that.
cannot force. The more you want to chase something, I always say to my team as well, when you chase the cat runs away. And that's why you have to really believe in, trusting the process, trusting what you're doing, and just wait until the chance opportunity comes. It will unfold. So powerful.
Yeah. I'll just leave you with two things, right? If you build it, they will come. And what I tell people as well, I say, look, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built. Right? So basically, eventually it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I love that. Thank you so much, Rudee. Really appreciate you. I can't wait to see you again on the next interview. I believe there's so many other things we need to share, especially some great news coming up. I can't wait to interview you to talk more about that amazing surprise. And we'll keep it a surprise for now. Look at his face, guys. Awesome.
Surprise.
So thank you so much, Rudee. And thank you so much, whoever's just watching from beginning to the end. It's time for you to have a rest because it's been a long interview. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you on the next interview. Thanks.